Good evening, everyone. I
Good
request
evening.
uh, Nidhi kindly introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Hemant Jogaikar, sir. Thank you so much, Nidhi.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. After two inspiring days at the Entrepreneurship Launchpad, we now arrive at day three with hearts full of curiosity and minds open to new ideas. Today, we are truly honored to welcome a man whose presence brings both wisdom and warmth, someone who carries with him decades of experience and yet speaks with the simplicity of a lifelong learner, Dr. Hemant S. Joglekar. Dr. Joglekar is a technologist, management consultant, mentor, and coach. But more than his titles, he is known for the lives he has touched, the leaders who he has shaped, and the values he carries into every room he walks into. He earned his PhD in 1989 from the prestigious UDCT, now ICT Mumbai, under the legendary Padma Bhushan professor J.B. Joshi, and went on to serve Asian Paints Limited for 3 decades, leading key domains like technology, manufacturing, sensor quality, and contract manufacturing, eventually retiring as a country head contract manufacturing. He is a certified Six Sigma Black Belt trainer, a specialist in GMP, and a deeply respected mentor in soft skills development, supply chain, and industrial practices. Dr. Juglekar is currently in the Dr. K.H. Garda Endowment Chair Professor of Entrepreneurship at ICT, where he leads the MBA in Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Venture Development as a course coordinator and BOS member. His insights have guided numerous startups and industries as an advisor and mentor both in India and globally. He teaches with the passion at XIMR, mentors PhD scholars at ICT and BARC, serves as an academic council member at Kirti College, and actively contributes to societal cause through NGOs like Maratha Vidyan Parishad and Garje Marathi Global, GMG USA. He's been recognized internationally, listed in the Who's Who by the American Biographical Institute, and frequently invited as a PhD and MTech examiner across Indian universities. But beyond all this, what truly defines Dr. Joglekar is the depth of his mentorship. His students are not just trained, they are transformed. And standing as a shining example of this is one of his former students, Dr. Bandu Chitale, the founder of Springwell Pharma Private Limited, and our guiding force for this workshop. Dr. Chatali had the privilege of being mentored by Dr. Juglekar during his PGD CTM days at ICT. And as we look at what Springwell has become today, a symbol of passion, innovation, and vision, we also see the invisible hand of a mentor who believed, guided, and shaped. To teach is noble, but to transform futures, that is rare. And that is the magic of Dr. Hemant Juglekar, sir. We are deeply privileged to have him with us today. Let us now welcome Dr. Hemant Juglekar, a mentor, a visionary, and above all, a torchbearer of purpose driven leadership. Sir, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, Nidhi, for your kind words and an introduction. I'm aware that it is always a saying that vital few is more important than trivial many. So I see that five, six participants are there, but they are no less in numbers, but they are very vital few. What I'm going to invest my 1.5 hour with all of your time investment is on entrepreneurships. And a couple of ground rules which Bandu must be knowing because he was my earlier student. Uh, no teaching goes without anything as a Guru Dakshina. So I also expect a Guru Dakshina from all of you. And that is in not in form of money. I repeat, that is not in form of money. You will have to pay me. What you will have to pay me? Pay your attention. Give attention to this. That's what the Guru would like. And even when you call me as a mentor, still I am learning at this age. Because life is full of learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's what I strongly believe. Life is full of the three I's, which are very important. All these three words, which comes with alphabet I: ideate, innovate, and inspire. So what I'm going to touch base on these 90 minutes, which includes question and answers and any kind of reflection, is about why India is now ventured into the entrepreneurships. What is the need of an hour? What is that the ideation means? What is that innovation means? What is that invention means? All eyes. And if you know that whenever you go for a startup, when we move from I to we, right? There is alphabetical ME, that is me. But if I make it opposite, it looks like W and it becomes we. So when you replace I with WE, we, even illness becomes wellness. So the startup is all about how we can use our collective wisdom, how we can use our education and experience, and why India has so embarked on this entrepreneurship journey. So before I start my presentation, let me tell you one or two stories because I know, regardless of the age, everybody likes to listen to the stories, and that will set the context. Point number one is today India is 1.42 billion. We are about 18% of world population on this planet, and we are growing. Even these 90 minutes, few more aspiring Indians would get born. Demographically, India is also strong. As you know, we are the demographically Yuva Shakti on this planet. We are not short of any pains and opportunities and challenges. You see everywhere, we find lot of people with pains, challenges, and opportunity. And as my guru, Professor Zebi Joshi, always says, convert those pains and challenges into opportunities. So that is what the entrepreneurship is all about. Today, many of you may be a chemical engineer, mechanical engineer, telecommunication engineer. But what the world and India especially is looking for a solution engineer, the one who does not grumble but gives solution to a problem. So what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to share the presentation, which is about 35, 40 slides. And that would take you through some role models of Indian startups which are being successful, the people who started this, people who ideated this. That is very, very important. And one thing which I would also like to tell you is that one of the things for the entrepreneurships is the stability of the mind, because mind controls body, and that is very important. The way you think, things happen. So you will have to also be on a very positive and motivational note when you are venturing on the journey of some challenges. And that is what I'm going to also share you in my presentation about lot of quotes, proverbs, infographics, which I have collated out of my readings and compilation in addition to my presentations. So the story which I wanted to start with you is a very famous story which I always share on such a platform of entrepreneurships. What entrepreneurship is all about? Entrepreneurship is all about working for what customer requirement is, identifying the customer, doing the research about customer behavior. So always it is said that customer shares his requirements in three forms. One is the stated requirement, which customer tells. Second is implied requirement, which customers typically does not share, speak, but it is implied. And third is the perceived requirement. So let me give an example. When mobile got invented, let us make very clear that invention is something which is known for some product or a service which is not existing and you have developed. That is invention. Innovations and improvements and discoveries are something which typically is existing and you have gone for a better version. So we will have to understand that very clearly, that what this all about. So the story goes like this, that Videocon washing machine, I always tell this story in many platforms. So they started to make washing machines in India. This is about late 70s. And they started developing a machine which is semi-automatic washing machine. And you know, today in India and especially in Mumbai, the availability of labor is very difficult. It comes at a very heavy cost. So automation or anything which comes through machine for washing clothes was welcome. So it was successful launch of this Videocon washing machine. And as you know, semi-automatic washing machine, I'm talking about 40 years back version where it was having a tub and spinner, two kind of setups in a machine. So that product got launched every part of the India very successfully with big loud shout outs by customers that this is something which we wanted. And suddenly this product, when it got launched in Punjab, there were a lot of customer complaints. Now the story is about how the entrepreneur looks to the customer complaint. That also is very important. because I sometime back said mind controls body. So you will have to be on a very positive note to every challenge and pain which you identify and convert that into opportunities. So when the customer complaint started coming after successful launch in many states of India, so the Dhoot brothers, who are the owners of Venugopal Dhootji, about Videocon, so they started having a concern that everywhere it was successful, why it is not successful in Punjab. So they sent one techno-commercial person to attend the customer complaint. So he visited Punjab and identified, and he gave a immediate call to the company. Sir, ये लोग तो washing machine में लस्सी बनाते हैं. So they make lassi in the tub of washing machine. Now, this is something which is unintended use by a customer. Intended use was what? कि टब में आप कपड़ा सुखाओ, कपड़ा धो, and spinner में कपड़ा सुखाओ, right? But as you know, in Mumbai, there is a vada pav and cutting chai. In Punjab, whenever you go, the tradition is the lassi and this size of lassi glass. So somebody, as a customer, as I said, customer's requirement stated, implied, and perceived. So this become under the bucket of perceived requirement. He thought ki instead of making one lassi like this, can I make a full batch of lassi in a tub? So he identified his own jugaad, what we call in India, and he started making lassis. And as you know, the pH of curd and the gasket is not food grade. It started leaking, and the customer complaint come. Now, why this story I'm telling you? The story does not end here. So the entrepreneur mindset, the owner of the Videocon said, hey guy, you look to and make a survey of how many people in Punjab states are using such a kind of our semi-automatic washing machine into lassi making. So he stays over there for a week and he comes and gives the report that 60% of the people are using our machine not for washing the clothes, but for lassi making. Only one part of it, that is tub, where the mixing happens. He says, come back. And in the time when he could come back to his HO, the entrepreneur, that is Dhoot brothers from Videocon, they called a cross-departmental meeting of R&D, marketing, and kind of engineering experts, food experts. And they said that, look, there is a customer who is not trying to tell us, but there is an opportunity of a challenge, which we can convert challenge into an opportunity and make this as a lassi making machine. So what they did, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You should always see a solution into a problem. Nobody is going to tell you, hello, Mr. XYZ, I am Mr. Solution. Nobody is going to knock your door. You will have to see what for the people are under pain. And you will have to find a solution. So then they made the meeting and then they developed the machine. They removed the spinner because spinner is not required. So they made a small size tub with a perfect gasket, leak proof and food grade, took the, approval from competent government authorities. And in 77, 78, lassi making machine at that time in 1800 rupees, if I mistake not, was launched. Who gave the input to the entrepreneur? The entrepreneur found this by virtues of, like Bapuji ne kaha, bura mat bolo, bura mat dekho, bura mat socho, suno, whatever. But entrepreneur always has to see, अच्छा क्या है वो बोलो, अच्छा क्या दिखता है वो देखो, अच्छा क्या है वो सुनो. So the customer complaint can also be a source of input. Is one-liner what I am trying to tell you out of this. And this can happen only when you have an entrepreneurship mindset. That's very, very important. Because general psyche ye hai ki whenever there is a customer complaint, oh my God, somebody is barking, somebody is shouting, he is not happy. Please understand, every customer complaints for an entrepreneur means one dissatisfied customer. And today customer is not tu hi kastakar or tu hi mar. It's customer. He is a God. So one story is this. Second story, I said that I will start with two stories. Second story is also quite interesting. It also talks about how the entrepreneurship mindset comes. Now, I'm very sure you are all young, but you definitely remember that once upon a time, 10, 15 years back, only Kalipili taxi used to become the only vehicle for us to take us from our railway stations or airports to the destinations and vice versa. And these people were looting the customers by extra luggage charges, looking at the customer's body language and doing some tricks about the this meter on their odometer. And they used to make the high bills, and customer were very happy. Sometimes they used to also drop you in between and ask and bargain for extra amount because of midnight fare and all that thing. When Uber co-owners some time back, long back, came to Mumbai, and at that time T2 was newly introduced and started in use, they were looking to visit some place like, say, Panvel, and they were trying to identify a cab. And now, typically the greed is very dangerous for a human. So when somebody as a taxi driver with Kalipili identifies them as a foreigners, you know, the greed is dangerous. So they started asking horrible price from them, not on the meter. All that an entrepreneurship mindset of the co-owners of the Uber, they could identify again this problem into an opportunity. And what they did, today they don't own a single cab. They don't pay directly on their roll any driver, but they have a fantastic app developed which takes care of all those problems with Kalipili taxi. They've noted down. So one of the things which entrepreneurship mindset is to do a good go-to-market kind of a research, identify and interface with the customers, what kind of problems you guys are facing. If they are not telling, note it down and always give a solution to the problem. So customers are not looking for you to sell a product. They want an experience. They want a solution to this world. And that's what Ola, Uber, Flipkart, e-commerce, Amazon, they all did. Their book value is very low. They don't own any shop, Amazon, e-commerce, and many things. They are the hub. They are the nodal point. They catalyze the process. And today, when you go to these private cabs, nowadays, Kalipili taxi are becoming a history. And they themselves are invited for a problem. So Uber and Ola should be thanking them that your problem has become me as a base for entrepreneurships. And today, because of the fantastic app where woman safety, emergency, rating for the driver, and no bargaining, no extra charges, no hidden, then your GPS tracking, everything, the official bills, receipts, everything is inbuilt in this. So these two stories are very important. First story talks about how the customer complaint can be a source of input. Look to it as an input. And second story is about an entrepreneurship mindsets, how you can convert a problem or an issue into an opportunity to do something great. And today, the India is positions with this government's positive mindset that there is a separate ministry which has happened for the startups. You must be aware, SME and MSCs, and there are ministries, there are chief secretaries who are doing the funding. There are Atal Yojanas which are happening to encourage these startups. And there are courses which has happened 6 years back. And as I am a professor of entrepreneurships on Dr. K.H. Gharda Endowment at ICT Mumbai, as well as the MBA program coordinator, we at ICT have started this course last year. We want to do a nation building by virtues of generating not placements for employees, but generating employers who will generate some kind of a placement in future. So that's with the mindset I would suggest that today the time has come that ideation, innovations, and innovation index of India should be very high. I don't know how many of you are aware that there are two indices which India should improve. Two indices. We are very heavy, high, number one in population index, of no use. Because if you are not generating with high population index, any innovation index, it is of no use. It's a not asset, liability. But look at the Israel, small, tiny country, just like a Mumbai around. But see, they developed that pagers. You know that story of a pager in this recent war? And those pagers were developed with a lot of innovations and they neutralized the terrorists at 1 minute. A lot of research has gone through. Did they publish any research paper? No. Did they take any patent for that? No. So second thing which I would also like to tell you is that if you are working for innovations, ideation, especially those who are in academics or those who aspire to be in academics, don't look to take a project only for one, I'm sorry to use that word, stupid research paper. I will call it stupid because if it is not adding any value or giving any value addition, it is of no use for a society. So do a project, embark on entrepreneurship journey which has a societal impact, right? Which somebody is asking for a solution. So become a solution engineer. That's very, very important. So with this background, I would suggest that the presentation I will try my honest efforts to see that India at the end of the presentation, my message, which is at the end, I'm telling you now that India should go up on two indices. One is happiness index, because everyone should be happy. And second is innovation index. We are 100 plus on the rank. You must be aware the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Finland, then South Korea, Israel, they are top, Japan on the innovation index, even on the happiness index. So that's the time where we can encash our demographical advantage and high populous country. And India is not just the experts of coding or experts of assembly, but India very soon should become not a developing, but a developed country with lots and lots of brains working on innovations. So I'm going to talk in my presentation with respect to what are the attributes which entrepreneurship mindset or entrepreneur should have, because that's what I would like to take you through, right? So I'm taking 30 seconds to share my presentation, which is allowed to me. So I'm sharing it. Once you can see that my presentation, Bandu, you can tell me if you can start seeing that. I'm doing that. I'm in a process of doing that. Yeah, I have opened
Perfect,
the presentation.
perfect.
Yeah. Now, what I will do is I will talk about my presentation on attributes of an entrepreneurship. And if at all there is any bandwidth issue, I may be putting off my video in between. Otherwise, let it continue. So let me take you through this presentation with these two examples or stories, which purposely I gave you to set the context and what India is looking forward from all of you. So first and very importantly, India need to improve on the global innovation index. So if you see the entire planet and different countries on this earth, there are countries which are in high rank of innovations. And these are United Nations scores their own matrix, how they identify which country is into which innovation index. So if you see top 10 countries at the time when survey was made was Switzerland, US, Sweden, UK, Netherlands, South Korea, many more. I see that in near time, in top 10 countries, our tricolor Indian flag also should come as an innovative country with lot of innovations. Now, successful innovators and businessmen, see, this is very important. Today, we have many Bollywood as your role model. I'm sorry, I mean, I respect their qualities, abilities, and skills. But for a country to become developing to develop, for me, some of the photos of real role models are on the screen. They can be Ratan Tata, Dhirubhai Ambani, Dr. Varghese, Anand Mahindra, living legend, Azim Premji, Lakshmi Mittal. You see all them who are coming here. There is one Professor J.B. Joshi, my guru, Dr. Ghalda, who has donated us for this MBA in IEV at ICT. IEV stands for Innovation, Entrepreneurships and Venture Development. Mukesh Bhai Ambani, ex-UDCT ICT student who recently donated 151 crores generously for ICT when there was a book launch of Padma Vibhushan Professor M.M. Sharma, our Mahaguru of ICT, whose photo is also there. Right to Dr. Mashilkar. Dr. Mashilkar is a student of Professor Sharma. Ashwin Dani is also there. Dr. Samir Mitragotri, ex-ICTN, Harvard professor is also there. These are the people who are the successful innovators, and some of them are businessmen. Like if you see Steve Jobs, Tesla head Elon Musk, these photos are also there. So what we will have to see is, we will have to see what we want to. And as Dhirubhai always used to say, think big, dream big, don't look too small. Do everything which is something which is your Like I remember 40, 45 years back, there was a TV serial, even before 50 years back, Star Trek. These are the science fiction. And today, those aliens and everything has become the actual reality. So you will have to visualize, you will have to create a scientific temper in your mindset so that you can think nothing but some venture which will be of societal value. So these are the successful innovators and businessmen which we know. Now, I will also like to give a very positive note on top 10 self made entrepreneurs. These are the self made entrepreneurs. Radhakrishnan Damani, whose market cap is 3,42,000 crores, DMarts, Dipinder Goyal, who started with Zomato. I told you some time back that look for a problem and convert into opportunity. Zomato, Swiggy, they came up with a concept of serving the food anywhere within the vicinity at any time. Because as you know, the restaurants typically are governed by the rules, but the kitchen can be on. You can't serve, but kitchen can be on. They took an advantage out of this. They took appropriate permissions and they launched these two startups, Zomato, Swiggy, respectively. And today, when IT sector, BPOs in cities, tier one, tier two, or some other people who are at odd time have a night shifts or morning shifts as per the off-campus timings, and if they want to have food, if they are hungry at a very odd time, you can see even at 1:30 in the early morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, or at midnight time, Zomatos and Swiggies are riding because there is an opportunity for a business. So somebody thought about converting a problem into an opportunity, and that's what they made. Then we have a Make My Trip. So likewise, Policy Bazaar, Dream 11, Razor Pay, Nika. So these are all top 10 self-made entrepreneurs. And you should aim to be one of them in the near future. Look for the areas which are not being tapped by anybody else. We are going to talk about that in my presentation. Now, innovation is what? Innovation is the process. This is the definition in the Oxford Dictionary. Process of bringing about new ideas, methods, products, service, and very importantly, solutions, because finally customer wants solutions for some problem which he or she is facing and which has got a significant positive impact and value. And if you remember, I always used to use that word value addition, value addition. You are not innovating only for a research paper or for a patent. You are innovating for the business. Finally, though it is having a societal value, it should generate the revenue also. That is also a fact of the matter. So innovation is culmination of what? Creative ideas, leadership attributes with vision. You have to be a visionary. Geo started the bandwidth and spectrum purchase with a vision and blueprint, where they started with giving a data at a very tremendously low price than other telec operators. And you know today the market share of Geo. I'm just giving examples. Uber and Ola also is with effective risk management example I would give, because they were from nowhere, came to India. And there was a traditional taxi business which was running. So they also take some risk. So risk appetite is also one of the requirement for an entrepreneur. You can't be safe all the time. Take risk. You should not be risk averse all the time. Take very thoughtful risk, calculated risk. You should also be innovative only when you take feedback and you change, as I said, learn, unlearn, and relearn. And based on the feedback, you revisit, adapt into the products and do better. And that's why we see many products, especially electronic gadgets, which always come upgraded, upgrade version, improved version. They call it like that. Because always based on the feedback, they are adopting the changes. Let me give an example. When the mobile business came in late 90s, 96, I think, Nokia was the top market leader. And mobile phone used to become like a luxurious item at that time. But there were a lot of customers' requirement which were coming. But Nokia somehow could not understand that. And then Apple and Samsung could sense it. So Nokia become a history. How many of you hold Nokia phone? Once upon a time, mobile means Nokia. That was like one slogan. But today, everybody has Apple and Samsung and many other successful companies because based on the feedback, they challenged themselves and they made the improvement by adopting the technologies. Like, for example, Steve Jobs, when he thought about the touch screen, everybody laughed at it. But it has today become one of the requirement, customers user friendly. So then your mobile, that antenna gone out, then you had your different apps, then you have your live TV, you have your calculator, torch, QR scan, your banking, UPI payments. Today, mobile is like your kidney and heart, if I say so. If your mobile is lost or misplaced, the person becomes very, very uncomfortable because it's like his office on phone. So, a lot of creative ideas and culture of developing this innovation is very important. So, in ICT, we have started this MBA full time government approved 2 year postgraduate MBA. And we have done it because we also want to be contributing, that we want to also challenge our status quo. For long 92 years, ICT is known for chemical engineering, technology, engineering. But we also want to become a B school. The course which Government of India launched 6 years back, we want to be there. And while we do that, please understand there is always a resistance to the change. Nobody wants to come out of comfort. So one of the things which I would also like to take this as an opportunity for entrepreneurships is all entrepreneurs should be ready to accept that there is going to be a resistance. Nobody wants to come out of the comfort zone. And resistance is the change. So in lighter vein, I always say, if you see the currency notes where Mr. Modi made the change in the currency notes, in the old currency notes of 20 rupees, 10 rupees, which is still valid now, the Mahatma Gandhi Bapuji on the currency note used to look at right. But the new currency note, he has started looking to the left as per the design. So if Bapuji has changed his position, this I am telling you in lighter vein, who are we to resist the change? So please note, change is the only constant in life. And entrepreneurship mindset should accept all that what you can see on the screen. There are very innovative startups. So people typically of your age, the audience here, students, and some of you, I understand, are teachers. So typically they mean startup means kuch to product ke bare mein hoga. No, your startup can be a product innovation. It can be a service innovation or it can be a process innovation. So for example, service innovation, Ola and Uber, where they will come? Is it a service elevation or is it a process elevation? So they will come under the process which they have adopted, or online teaching by Baiju, Paytm. So look at the middle bucket of the startups which come under the service and look at the products innovation which has come by Facebook, Tesla, who thinks of now a SpaceX, and then Google, all those WeWork, Apple, these are the one. So whenever the innovation happens and if you make the good market survey and customer finds this value adding, you will grow. I'm sure as a good reader, you must be aware that Apple market cap is very close to India's economy. It runs into trillion. So couple of top two companies of the US amounts to the GDP of India. We are fourth in the world now. So you can imagine what percentage of contribution you do in the nation building when you innovate your product or a service or a process, either of the three variants, into innovation front. Now, if you want to be an entrepreneur, note down these 5 stages. First and foremost, sapna dekho, dream. As you know, in many animal kingdom, human is the only one where God has gifted us, where we can not just sleep, all animals sleep, but we can dream also. So as our people president, late great Professor APJ Abdul Kalam said, dream, dream. And as many leaders say, that leaders never do thing different. Leaders do thing differently. So think, dream differently for a different product. Then make a survey. We are all technologists. We must know and know the survey. I will give you an example how the survey is made even for a common hawker in Mumbai. You must be aware that there are many vada pav joints or chai wala cutting chai in Mumbai. Every 100, 200 meter, definitely in Mumbai, you will find vada pav joint or a chai wala. Have you observed what they do a survey? They definitely must be doing a survey where in that region there is no chai wala or vada pav joint. And not only they do a survey, they innovate it. They do a backward and forward integration also. Even they do a collaborative work. Like if you see sharply, very close to the vada pav wala, there must be one juice shop or sugarcane, usacha ras, what we call in Marathi, or a buttermilk chas wala koi. Because after having a spicy bite, you definitely would like to have a thirst. So everything is properly surveyed. So dream, survey, design your that dream and survey, what we call as an architect. Then build on that. Then cultivate that by from moving from micro to macro on a very commercial scales by bringing in your other collaborators and again start dreaming. So this is how the cycle goes for this kind of the methods which entrepreneurs should adopt. Dream, survey, architect, build, cultivate, again start dreaming. It is never stopping. And this, if you do, you can see in picture, you will have a lot of dollar impact, which will be coming. You will be setting up a new horizon for the business. And as the light symbol indicates, you have a eureka kind of a stage by doing something great. So customers, they are not looking for what they want. They want you to sell the problem you solve, not the product. So Alipili Taxi came up with the app, Uber app. So what Uber sold? Uber is not purchasing any car or not paying any driver on their role. They are selling the problem they have solved, not the product. So please keep it in mind as an entrepreneur. Think of an innovation or a product or a service, or a design where you can sell the problem which you have solved. So sell the solution, not the product. Very, very important. Buyers don't want product. They want experiences, right? So there are many brands which talks about how they identify the market pulse. So buyers don't want product. They want experience. Let me give a couple of examples. Banking. Once upon a time, 30, 35 years back, banking used to become not so happy experience, especially the government recognized banks. They have their own efficiency. Of course, they are improving now because of the competition again. But when HDFC and ICICI private banks came, as per the government permissions, the customers started having a different banking experience. And everybody started changing the loyalty from public PSU banks to private banks because buyers don't want products, they want experience. So here, in place of buyers, customers don't want product, they want an experience. Second example, which I would like to give you about this, is my company where I worked for 30 years, Asian Paints. Our tagline talks about Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai. It talks a lot. It talks about emotions. It talks about our dominance in the decorative paint segment. And though our name is Asian Paints, we are not just selling paint. We are selling painting. We are selling every concept of anything which comes under the canvas of home decor. And as you know, we are into bathroom fittings and we are with Slick Kitchen through acquisitions. We have a global presence and many more. So buyers don't want products. They want experience. So think of the entrepreneurships where you will definitely touch base on this. So there are people who always publish papers, right? I am also a technologist. But what is very important? One actual execution is much more importantly weighed than 10 great ideas. If your ideas are not shared, not collaborated, not executed, what is the use? Only a research paper. You will find many people who may be saying this, यार ये मैंने भी सोचा था. But सोचा सबने था, किया किसने? So the one on the right hand side weighing pan is the person who executed it, result it. So result is an outcome of the efforts. What customer wants, is result. So you do it. So execution is more important than only having ideas. Otherwise, they will remain as an liability unless you execute it to convert it into an asset. So let us understand now with this background what entrepreneur means. The definition in the dictionary says an individual who identifies needs, develops a business, and takes on financial risk. So all those earlier slides where I showed you photographs of successful Indian and international entrepreneurs, they all identified the needs, like Videocon washing machine story. They developed a business model and took a financial risk of launching a product which nobody thought. What is the importance of entrepreneurs? They drive innovations. Entrepreneurs are the epicenter of country's innovation. They contribute to the nation building. If you see a top 10 startups of India, self-made, which I showed you some time back, their market cap is a good percentage of India's GDP. And more than the GDP, the energies which they bring and inspiration which they bring to the next generation is commendable. They also create the jobs. Like, for example, MBA in IEV, the students generally think of placement kya hoga. But these students would be the future and they would be generating the placements to begin with one or two, and then they will grow and they will stimulate the economic growth of the country. So that is entrepreneur. Now, there are key attributes which are needed for any entrepreneur. One is vision, and not vision, but with creativity into it. I gave you an example of the pagers which terrorists were using, and Israel looked to it as the creative and innovative ideas to neutralize them. It's because of this recent geopolitical and war in Middle East. There are many examples of creative thing which I can show you and share you, but because of time, I am coming with one or two examples. Another key attributes is risk taking and resilience. This is very important. Perseverance and patience is important, and you should also have a risk taking ability. You cannot have a startup out of your emotions because somebody has done it and you should start it. Never ever you invest emotionally because people who are investing time money with you, they are expecting ROI. They are not interested in your equity sharing. They are expecting ROI. So whatever you do, it should be with well thought. So risk taking ability and resilience are the mindsets which entrepreneurs should have. One of the soft skills which is very important, which I teach in many other courses at ICT and other schools, is about soft skills, leadership, team building, and communication. I always say that जिसका आवाज बड़ा वो चना बेचेगा. Communication is the skill. In chapati, you go, there are 5 chane wale. Everybody has got same quality of chana, sing, and same price. But only there is a rush at one chana wala. Other 4 are silent. And the chana wala with heavy customer footfall is because he is very loud in that sense, communicative, and saying chana, chana, chana. You can't be so introvert and shy when you are into entrepreneurships. You will have to sell your ideas, product, solutions to the customer. And this all you can do only when you speak. So speak out, communicate at appropriate time. At times, the silence also is a tool of communication. When you are listening to the customer's voice, don't hear customer, listen to the customer. There is a difference between hearing and listening. So these abilities comes through soft skills. I do a lot of workshops on soft skills because from an industry experience, my great company taught me that, and I'm also building on it. So my suggestion to all of you present is skills are soft, but they are hard to learn. But soft skills are very important. Leadership skills, communication skills, negotiation skills, right? Stress management, collaborative working, everything you must learn. Another attribute which entrepreneur requires is adaptability and flexibility. You have to develop a product and a service which is adaptable, which is flexible. Means you are ready to adjust that with the market demands. or customer's perception, and you are flexible to that. If you are not flexible with that, your product or your service, like Nokia, will become rigid, and one day it will become obsolete, out of market, right? So adaptability and flexibility is equally important for you guys when you do for the entrepreneurships. One of the entrepreneurship mindset which is very heavily demanded is your decision making and problem solving attitude. You are here to solve the problem. You are not here to publish a paper. You are here to make a business. You are here to solve the problem and generate revenue. As simple as that. You are not an NGO. You are here to generate the money, maybe for a social cause by using technology. But definitely, your problem solving should generate an revenue, not for you, but also supporting the economy of the country. So, decision making patterns are very important. I always say in soft skills, learn to say no when you want to say no. Very important. Many people come up into a personal space problem or in office with peers and bosses because they are unable to say no when they want to say no. Anyway, that's a separate topic. But decision making and expressing and working on the problem solving is very important as an attribute of entrepreneur. Now, let us go one by one of all that what I have shown. 5 bullet points. Let us go one by one. So, vision is nothing but ability to foresee opportunities and long-term goals. Uber, Ola, Flipkarts, Amazon, uh, Swiggy, Zomato, everybody thought about it. They can foresee what is there. Creativity, it is nothing but innovation in the product as well as service or apps which are giving your problem solving. Example is Steve Jobs, the great person who developed this entire Apple's configurations. Elon Musk, who not just think about this planet, but about the space. You know, 2, 3 attempts of his launch has failed, but failure is a stepping stone for the success. And somewhere Elon Musk, I will also give him marks for risk-taking ability because that attribute he holds very high. Example in India, local example is Uber, a great success. They foresee the opportunities. They came up with cab. They will come out with now Rapido is also their competition. Auto is also in Uber Auto. I mean, today the water taxi also will come. I'm sure they are working on it because they have to foresee the opportunities. Risk taking and resilience. Risk taking is nothing but willingness to invest despite uncertainty. Again, I will give example of Uber. They were all Firangis. There was a heavy competition for well set for long decades. Kalipili taxi. They were having unions, and these people wanted to launch an app, not by purchasing taxis, only through app. They want to challenge the status quo for the customers at some cost. So what they did? They took the risk. They still invested willingly, despite of uncertainty. So at this juncture, I would like to tell you one word in the management and in economics, which is largely used. I don't know how many of you are aware. If not, you can write down. The today world is full of VUCA, VUCA, VUCA. Today's world is VUCA world. V stands for volatility. U stands for uncertainty. C stands for complexity. And A stands for ambiguity. VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. Look at the example of COVID-19. We say na, China का कुछ भी product टिकता नहीं है, but COVID तो टिका. Joke apart. So when this COVID came, entire status quo was challenged. Nobody thought that every world will, every teaching, every tuition, every class will happen online. Every offices will, for a good time, work from home. Then BSC market, BSC Sensex, volatile. So COVID was example of uncertainty. Situation in life, like travel in day to day into Mumbai, reaching office in time, getting a network connection at appropriate places. That is also a complex situation. And then, what will happen next? Either to a geopolitical situation or to the economy or to the whether new variant of COVID, whether it will come. That is an example of ambiguity. Or sometimes the customer requirements is also ambiguous. You don't know what is that they want to tell. So all that is risk taking. So all that come because the world is VUCA. Resilience is ability to recover from the failure. You know Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, our success stories. We also had a problem of hover dropping on the surface, but we did it successfully second time. And today ISRO, you know ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. They are not just the launching pad for Indian satellites, but even from other countries. They use ISRO as official professional service because they showed the perfect example of resilience, ability to recover from failures. This mindset also is important for entrepreneurs. So, example, if Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Sarah Blakely, Spanex, local examples is OTT. If you remember, in our time, 35 film screen was the only definition of theater screen. Then came 70 in 1975 when Sholay got into a record. And then today we have a 3D and 4D and whatever D is kind of. And then came a private channels. And now what we have? We have OTT. We have on the top channels, which are private channels, web series and private movies and different shows, dramas. They are highly rated. So these are also example of risk taking, no? That they change the taste of customers from going to a theater than getting the theater inside their uh, living room or bedroom where that you can the television you can watch and have similar experiences with high-end service. That is what OTTs are giving. So these are the examples. Definitely, I will try to tell. One of the soft skills which entrepreneur should develop is leadership. He has to be seen as an epicenter for inspirational and guiding teams. You can't become a leader if you are not able to inspire and guide someone, right? So, as I say, three I's are important: innovate, ideate, and inspire. This inspirational pattern should be from your leadership abilities. I will give example of MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli. Yes, the great leaders. They inspire and guide teams. If you have seen Virat Kohli, his happiness index is very high. Even if some of his colleague has taken a catch, you see how he is rushing like a child and celebrating it. That's the inspiration. Or Dhoni, his silence at times and strategic planning also is very inspirational in guiding the teams. Communication is also important, convey ideas and build relationships. Today, after COVID-19, I always say emotions have become emotions. That's wrong. Phone is smart, mobile, but people are becoming stupid. My point is, we are we are a human animal. We are social animal. Human is a social animal. So if we don't communicate to each other, convey ideas, and build relationships, we will always go with one idea each. But if we share to each other, if suppose we are 10 people here, we will go with 10 ideas each. And that will happen only when you communicate. Example is Oprah Winfrey with her show. Richard Branson, who started this Virgin Group. Local example, India is Nano Car by Tata's. When Ratanji Tata looked at a family riding a two-wheeler with a husband, wife, and two kids, he thought of it. Can I convert these two-wheeler customers into four-wheeler? So what he started with top to bottom approach. Can I? He make his own risk-taking ability. Can I develop a four-wheeler in India with economic range? 1 lakh rupees may car. And today you know nano car. Same example is Captain Gopichand. When there were airlines in aviation industries running business, Captain Gopichand thought about no show off, only business. And he started this Deccan Airways, which is not now there, but it was successful over a decade. Most economy air travel in the country. Then Videocon. So these are all live examples where there are idea building and communications are used. Fourth point of the entrepreneurship mindset attribute is adaptability and flexibility. You must adjust to the market change. Change is the only constant. You are not controlling the change. Customer and the patterns is controlling the change. Who thought that everybody will be putting a mask for a couple of years after COVID-19? Who thought? Who thought that sanitizer will be a scarcity in the market, demand supply imbalance? Who thought? So we will have to immediately adapt. Like, for example, when I was in Asian Paints, our great company, when there was a market demand of heavy sanitizers, within no time, even in that COVID, Asian Paints, with the proper permission, develop and launch sanitizers. Though our company name is Paint, you have to show adaptability to adjust with the market change. Apple phones is another example. They change all the time. Every 6 months, laptops, mobiles, iPods, they are with the new versions because change is the only constant. Flexibility. You should be open to the new ideas. You never know. Today we have a wire or wireless car charging for the mobile. It may happen in couple of years. You never know that some SMS will come. If you download that link, your mobile get fully charged. Somebody definitely must be working with these freak ideas. So Mark Zuckerberg and Reed Hastings, these are all great innovators who are the best example, who have adopted, acquired to show the flexibility in their business line, right? I hope these names should be your role models. Local example is UPI. Opposition was very strong in the parliament. I don't want to name the politician who said and stood up that India is a poor country with lot of illiteracy. Digital payment will be a failure. And today what has happened? Even a beggars have a QR scan. Even a vada pav joint chai wala has a QR. You can survive in India without having currency notes in your wallet. But if you have a UPI payment and bank balance, your phone is your bank. From 10 rupees to any amount, as applicable as per the rule book, you can do digital payment. You see medical services apps. Practo. How many of you know Practo? You don't have to search for your family doctor because family doctor concept is diminishing. So Practo app, you can identify, you can see reviews, and then you can select which doctor for which service. So that Practo app is there. So these are examples. So one message which I have put it here in red is, as an entrepreneur, never resist the change. Accept the change. Change is the only constant. Change is the only constant. Fifth, out of that 5 attributes, top 5, is decision making and problem solving. We will have to make quick decisions. There are many companies, leaders, who have even taken a call to wrap up the business and going into some other form or other area. So these all choices should be well thought of. Problem solving attitude. See, here I would like to tell you the alphabets A to Z are 26 in numbers. So if A is given score of 1 and B is 2, C is 3 and Z is 26, the attitude score is 100. Hard work is 98. Attitude matters. So you should have an attitude of problem solving, attitude, aptitude, whatever you may call. If you are not a solver, if you are not a solution engineer, why you are needed? We have many grumblers who grumble. We want the person who takes a control of the situation and come out with the solution. So problem solving, innovatively solving the challenges is very important. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, Sergey Brin, these are the examples which we know they were great decision taking. At appropriate time, Larry Page was in Google. Then at appropriate stage, he thought I should quit. That also is a decision making, right? Now we will come to some datas because datas can take you to the decisions. So these are the division wise in India, startup incubators, geographical spreads. So if you see maximum incubators for Incubi for the startups is in South. Tamil Nadu has got 46 maximum among the India, pan India. And then we have in Maharashtra 38. Then we have again Karnataka with 34. Gujarat we have 24. So you can see which are those opportunities region wise where customer footfall is very high, but incubators are less, right? So these are the opportunities which universities, institutes are taking. Government and AICTE is making a close look how we can make startup incubators more and more and spread it equally across the. This is a Bloomberg data. Now, whenever you want to do a pitch deck is like what you want to talk about your product, like Shark Tank. You must have seen Shark Tank episodes. So you should be very clear about purpose and vision. You should be aware to which target audience. These are all marketing terms. Target audience you are talking about. You should also know about the problem because, as I had said, people are here. Customer wants you to sell your ideas and experience, not the product. So they want the solution which comes forth in the slide. Then they also would like to know your commercial model. Then you should also do a market analysis, which is famous acronym TAM, SAM, and so on. TAM is total addressable market. SAM is serviceable available market. And SOM is serviceable as well as obtainable market. So all these three data you should have before you go for pitching for the startups. You should also be clear about market viability. You can't launch a tandoori chicken shop in an area where full of vegetarians and Jain meals. You will have to see a market viability for a product or a service for a joint. So SAM and SOM gives you help for that. You will have to generate evidence of success to sell your ideas and product. You should also have your blueprint ready for a future growth. Your product or a service should give a unique advantage as a part of your pitch deck. Then there are takers and investors. There are angel investors who will definitely try to see, इसमें अलग हटके क्या है? Then you should do the horizontal deployment of mapping, how you can extend this to different geographies. And more importantly, using your soft skills, how can you develop a team and then let the team works on a routine business and you come out of that, start for venturing something new and growing the business. That is actually anatomy of the pitch deck. Now, if you want to talk about your product or a startup as an entrepreneur, your 1 minute pitch should be you should talk in 1 minute about what your company is, what you are developing is, for what audience you are helping, and with what. Second line should be you are competing with whom, with what defined market, and what was the market value you are aiming. Third statement should be whether you are similar to any competitor which is established, one or two. But what is a unique experience, as I said in earlier slide, which you are going to showcase. Fourth statement should be what currently you have, what are the products, what are your team's availability, what level they are ready now. So readiness index. And lastly, you should be also looking for the ask, what you are asking for, what you are asking for, supports, investments, that also should be there to help in growing that business. So that also is important. Now, whenever you are as an entrepreneur, I must also share you the stages on startup funding. We still have a time, right? We are 5 minutes past 8. No problem. So let us see the startup funding round guide. So you have a conceptualization stage, then early operational phase, as you see in the slides, then growth phase, then expansion, and then final phase of complete potential realization. So in all that stages, if we number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first stage, when you are conceiving an idea, we call it as a pre-seed funding. And there are many government agencies and private institutional bodies who are they do the seed funding. So if you see pre-seed, then seed funding, then it goes into all that stages of your startup's journey, the way you conceive the product and deliver as a ready solution to the customer. So you must be aware about basic funding stages. Now, what the entrepreneur is different, how it is different from the businessman. आप बिजनेसमैन हो, $1.5 का केला खरीदते हो, $2.5 में केला वैसे ही बेचते हो. But the entrepreneur will think differently. As I said, leaders do think differently, not different. So what they will do? Same $1.5 ka banana, they will convert into the juice, natural juice without preservatives, and sell it at $5, $5.5. Let me give another example. If you have lokhand ka tukda iron rod, which generally is sold in 12, 15 rupees per kg, but if you make lot of nails, kile uske banate ho, so you will generate 100 rupees. If you make any iron tool, you will make 200 rupees. But if you make a horseshoe out of that iron rod, you may even earn 1,000 rupees, because that is a lucky thing as a horseshoe. घोड़े की नाल बोलते हैं. So it's up to the mindset of whether you are a businessman where you want to only do a trading, or whether you want to bring in and come out with some innovative ideas and generate revenue. That's the entrepreneurship. That's the entrepreneurship. So build your brand. If you want to build your brand, I would recommend these 6 stages. First, do a business analysis. SWOT karo, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat of what the business model you would like to do, what is currently happening. Secondly, build the foundation, what you are doing out of your SWOT, where do you exist in the market, how will you execute it every day, what it will look like someday over a period of time. So we call it as a purpose, mission, and vision table. Then you position yourself, track your positioning in the market. Then you structure your entire brand architecture, your enterprise. Then you show a tag of your company, what you are being uniqueness about it, which is called as a personality of a brand. So that's something which has to be very clear. Then you are also creative and communicative in activating and generating influencers for go to market and achieving the market shares. So likewise, you will have to go through these 6 phases when you do that. So to increase your value in life, one has to take burning. मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी बॉस. ये मक्के की 5 रुपए वाली 20 रुपए में, if you are putting it on a chulla, and when you sell, automatically you generate 4 times the revenue. So to increase your value in life, you have to burn a little. And those who have got the mindsets of burning, they only can survive in the entrepreneurship journey. Otherwise, jobs to hai. Top 10 startup mistakes. I must also tell you, because it happens that in the early stage, we have a lot of energies, enthusiasm, and when you hear some class, you also get motivated possibly for doing something. But please also know what are the top 10 startup mistakes. First mistake is building something when nobody wants. You are developing a product or a process nobody wants, so you have not done a proper survey. Second thing is hiring poorly. You are hiring the people with not that efficiency and the professionalism. Third is lack of focus. Initially, the focus was there, then you don't retain the focus. So it goes. Fourth, the mistakes as per the rank is fail to execute sales and marketing. So you are unable to sell, reach out to the market. So likewise, there are top 10 which I have listed here, ignoring the social media. People are losing out startups business because they are not using proper platform of social media. Social media is the best platform. So if you see my message in the slide down below, speed is lesser important than the direction. So एक गुरु को पूछा था शिष्य ने कि गुरुजी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है लाइफ में. He said संगत, कंपनी. So I also say speed and direction में सबसे important क्या है? Direction. Because if you are misdirected but with high speed, you are not going to reach the destination. So these are the top 10 startup mistakes which is published. Startup funding round guide. This is another infographs about the same stages of 6 funding stages where you can get the loans and the supports. Now let us understand 10 types of innovations. It can be network, it can be structure, it can be a process innovation, it can be a product, it can be a service, it can be in a brand. So it is absolutely anywhere where there is an I, innovation, you are needed. Now let us look at so many startups, but still $30 trillion is America economy and $23 trillion is China, and we are $4.2 trillion. What are the DNA changes? The way startups reality check India and China. So in India, as we are the populous country, food delivery apps and fancy ice creams, cookies, instant grocery deliveries, everything to eat, they are being high on the startups. But look at what China's are doing. आगे की कितनी सोच रखते हैं. Their startups focus more on electrical vehicles, EV, battery tech, semiconductors and artificial intelligence, robotics and automations, drones, global logistics. So they deep tech. So they look beyond today. So one of the things which India can learn from China is not just the technology, but the vision. They look far with the head of the vision. That's very important. So India startup sector faces challenges. Over 5,000 startups or around 3.3% of total in India, 1.52 lakhs recognized startups by India as per the ministry which has declared. So these are the startups which closed down 3.3% from the early so-called honeymoon period when they started with energies. Because the reasons which I had told you earlier about the entrepreneurship mindset and attributes. Several factors which are also contributing to high closure of startups, funding challenge, scalability issue. You are not in a position to commercialize it, market saturation. Your product has gone, जब market में saturate हो गया, अभी they want something new, right? So like you are developing a pager where today your mobile phones are coming with foldable mobile phones or like a foil. क्या मतलब है? So there are many examples which are there. So we'll just move quickly. So these are the state-wise startups in Maharashtra. 929 startups got closed out of that 5,000. So nearly 20% of the startups of India from Maharashtra, 20% startups failure is from Maharashtra because of various reasons. And we should learn from the failures, hence this graph and the data. So same in one slide. So there is an analysis of startup failures with respect to the founder's dilemma, whether to continue or not continue, the pressure from the investors. So there are very reasons. Now, when you want to grow, one of the things, as I said in the beginning of my lecture, is mind controls body. There are two mindset. One is fixed mindset, you are not ready to change. And second is a growth mindset. So fixed mindset people miss all the old days. They fear of missing out. And all that what we want is risk averse, not risk averse, risk taking people. So we want to learn from mistakes. We want to live in the present. We want to help others to succeed. We don't want to complain. We want to grow. So that is the growth mindset which you must have. There are three keys. Now we are coming to end part of my presentations. There are three keys on the computer boards, which generally we use: Alt, Control and Delete. Alt, Control and Delete. But I have these three keys, which I have named like reset, shift mindset, and positive attitude. If you take a tablet of these three shifts, I mean, the sky is the limit. So 6 thinking hats, which are the key for smarter decisions when you are embarking on an entrepreneurship journey. Focus on the facts, create data to take a decision. Identify the risk. You have to taking a risk ability. Encourage the creativity. There has to be innovation and creativity. Acknowledge the feelings, what customer wants. What are your feelings? Deep insights. Find the benefits, unique proposition of your product or a service. And then maintain the overall control of your overall business and enterprise. So you should have these 6 thinking hats. And why all this? I am trying to tell you. Because if egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. वो 3 इडियट में गाना भी है उसी पे. But if whatever I am telling you little out of what I know little, if egg is broken by an inside force, life begins. So if you yourself feel from within that yes, we can do something on our own, if not singly with like-minded people, you can develop an enterprise. And learning from the failures and doing proper research, understanding what I'm trying to tell, definitely will create in you and you will transform from employee to employer. And that's a big, big journey. So to recap, entrepreneurs shape industries and societies. Developing entrepreneurial attributes is essential. You will have to develop entrepreneurial attribute and start nurturing these skills, not from tomorrow, today. So thank you. We are at 8:20 approaching. And if at all there are any questions or reflections, feedbacks, we have 10-15 minutes, Dr. Bandu. We can talk on that. So let us witness India getting transformed into developed Bharat by focusing on three I's: ideate, innovate, and inspire. Thank you.